Welcome to Ponchatoula Live, the show where we make it easy for you to connect with the people of Ponchatoula. Today, I've got a terrific guest. This is someone who is serving our community, both here in Ponchatoula and the surrounding area, in a very meaningful way. She is the executive director of the North Oaks Foundation. And as I have learned over the past year or so, as a board member, she is someone who is full of energy and intelligence and bright ideas. I think you're going to love the time you spend today getting to know her. So, with no further ado, I bring to you Staci Arceneaux. Staci, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's good to be here.
Well, I'm really excited you made time for us because I know that the foundation has some really incredible things going on. And of course, you're at the forefront of that. I can't wait to ask you about that. But before we dig into the North Oaks Foundation, why don't we begin with you just telling our viewers a little bit about yourself?
A little bit about me. I'm originally from the New Orleans area. I've been at North Oaks for 8 years. I am the foundation director. When I was hired, it was to form a foundation. So we are a very young and new foundation. Prior to that, I worked at Children's Hospital for 11 years in fundraising. So, and then prior to that, I was doing marketing for banking institutions. So I've been in fundraising for almost 20 years, and it's just, I really love it. I love what I do. I like that I can see what my efforts produce results, and I can see how it helps people in their lives, and it really just makes me feel good.
Well, it sounds like you've got kind of the perfect resume for this position because you have marketing chops from outside of the medical field. But that time at Children's Hospital had to just be essential. What could you tell us about that time in your life and your career?
Oh, it was just such a blessing. I loved my job. I loved the cause, the kids. I got to meet a lot of our young patients and their families, as you know, when they would participate in our telethon and events that we would do. It was just, again, very rewarding walking through the hospital and seeing the kids and seeing how we were helping them and healing them and helping them to have happy, healthy lives. And really, you know, I left there simply because the opportunity here at North Oaks was too great to pass up. It was an opportunity. It was a move up, and it was also an opportunity to come in from the ground up and start a foundation. So it was a challenge. And, you know, I don't regret a second of it. I absolutely love what I do, and I'm learning every day as well. So,
well, you've built something really special here. It was introduced to me first through our charter member from our community, the late great AJ Parker, who everyone knows and respected. And of course, in addition to being the retired principal at PHS, he was a former chairman of the North Oaks board. And just an icon and influencer in so many ways. But I know that this project was near and dear to his heart. So after his passing, when I was approached with the opportunity to fill in for him, it was a no-brainer to do. But you know, if you would tell our viewers a little bit about what is the North Oaks Foundation, what does it do?
Sure. Well, first, I just want to say Mr. Parker was a gem. Just the loveliest man, such a kind heart. So accomplished. Everyone knew him. Everyone loved him. Every time I was with him, we ran into someone who was a former student of his. And he was just so proud of North Oaks, and he loved being on the board and you know, helping us, you know, steer the ship, so to speak. But to answer your question, the North Oaks Foundation, it is a 501c3 nonprofit private entity established to support the mission and the efforts of the North Oaks Health System. So while we are completely separate from the health system, we have a separate board that you sit on. Our mission and our bylaws state that our purpose is to improve the health of the region by philanthropic and advocacy efforts that support the North Oaks Health System. So when we raise money, and the monies that we raise, we only support, that money goes back to the North Oaks Health System to support various initiatives that our board identified when we first formed.
And if you don't mind, I'm going to share here a little bit from the website so we can see who else is involved.
Yeah.
It's a great board that's mixed up with members of the community here in Ponchatoula and Hammond, as far up to the north end of the parish, Tom Toller from Kentwood,
Yes.
Mr. Joseph from Independence. But as everyone can see here, the first person on the board is our Ponchatoula favorite, Callie Burner. She's a former North Oaks employee like you, and and my neighbor, and just a wonderful woman. Callie's
Very
just
sweet.
a great asset. Everybody knows Dr. John Crane. Until recently, for years, ran Southeastern. You can see all these other folks. So that poor guy in the black coat there, he and everyone else. But as you can see, it's a lot of really important folks. Mr. Joseph, who not only headed the school system for many years as our superintendent, now sits on the parish council. Dr. Miller, Sandy Miller, Tom Toller with the school board. What I love here is you put together a nice broad section of the parish. You've kind of covered all bases, private sector, public sector, but it's people that really care about our community and have deep roots in our community. And I'm new to the table. I can't claim any credit for any successes y'all have, but I've been incredibly impressed by the things you've done. I can't wait to ask you in a moment about the mobile health unit. That was the first big rollout I was, blessed to participate in, and it's such a great project. But I want folks to know here that it's a community board, and people are coming from all over, and we here in Ponchatoula are well represented with two people on it. So what's it like managing a board that's kind of all over the place? Because for us, it's a part-time thing. We periodically attend board meetings and functions, and we assist with fundraising and whatnot, but we have other day jobs. For you, it's a full-time passion. What's that like, Staci, as a director trying to, quote, herd cats of all these board members that are busy in their other life?
Oh, my board is just delightful. I love everyone on the board. They're so easy to work with and communicate with. So it's not a chore at all. And I appreciate everything that our board does, because they are, as you know, volunteers. They're not compensated. Right. We don't pay them. So they're really giving of their time and their talent and their expertise. And when I need something and I reach out, it's always yes, what can I do to help? So that is really one of the best parts of what I do, is getting to work with that board.
Right. So if you don't mind, first let's talk about the general areas of service that the board provides, and then we can dig into specific projects like the mobile health unit. Okay. But would you tell us kind of broadly, what it does?
Yeah, sure. So the three major initiatives that we support, that the foundation supports, it was important to us that we had something in place that we could provide assistance and support to our employees if they were in need. So we established the Employee Emergency Benevolent Fund. And through that fund, the foundation puts money into it, and it is managed by a few staff members, North Oaks staff members, including our Director of Pastoral Care, a representative from our Human Resources Department, and someone from Case Management. So when an employee experiences a emergent or catastrophic situation, such as a house fire, or someone had a car stolen, flooding, perhaps your illness that puts them out of work for a amount of time, they are able to apply for a grant through the Benevolent Fund. And so we're able to provide assistance and help our own. And that's really important to me. And when I talk to employees and new employees about who are considering participating, I always say, I can assure you that the one thing for sure that you'll be doing if you give to the foundation is you will be helping your fellow employees. And we were able to make hardship grants during COVID for employees who were flexed off and had run out of PTO, but we couldn't bring them back yet because we didn't have the volume. After Ida, we made 75 $500 grants to provide assistance to employees who had home damage that displaced them. So that's one initiative. And then we have some patient assistance things that we can do, minor things where if a patient needs, transportation home or clothing to go home in, or just basic medical supplies, sometimes we help out with those minor needs. And so the foundation will put money into that fund. And then the big catch-all is major equipment and technology acquisitions. So that could be anything from software to a mobile clinic, an X-ray machine, whatever the case may be.
And while the first two are incredibly important, it's that third one, the tech and equipment, that's kind of the sexy arm. It's where things get fun, and it's fun to kind of come and see what important toys the foundation is able to help supply to North Oaks. And specifically, the one that I've been able to see roll out is the mobile health unit. And this is so neat. It's essentially a bus that's like a full-fledged health clinic. It's got multiple exam rooms, tons of equipment. Would you mind telling us about how that project came to be and just fill in the blanks about how effective it is?
Yeah, we knew, we have, in our own area, we know that there are people who live in the outer lying areas, people who are, of limited resources, and they don't come to the doctor when they need to come to the doctor. When they're sick, they wait until they're much more sick than they need it to be. And there are some barriers, transportation being a major one. And we also knew from some of the research we did, and when I say we, I mean our population health department, but we looked at a lot of different resources, and we kind of learned that we had, as far as like, if you look at us within the state, in 4 categories, we had the worst rating of any parish in the state as far as health grades go for the people who live here. And we know that 10% of the people in the parish don't have transportation, and there's 20% live below the poverty level. And so we looked at all that information, and we wanted to essentially remove the barriers to healthcare for the majority of the people that live here. And so we decided that the way we could do that was to purchase a mobile care clinic, which is a clinic on wheels, like you said. It was a $400,000 bus. And I'm proud to share that our foundation raised the $400,000 to buy it. And so it is now out in the community. We go out to grocery store parking lots, church parking lots. We partner at community events. We provide first aid at all the community events in this area already. North Oaks does.
Right.
But when the bus is available, we can have it there. And, they're going out, and what they're doing is they're doing cancer screenings, heart screenings, diabetes risk and pre-diabetes. They are taking blood pressure and doing stroke assessments, stroke risk assessments on people, cholesterol, things like that. We're giving out flu shots. We're identifying people who didn't know they had high blood pressure. They didn't know that they were pre-diabetic. And so we're there with them close to where they live. And then we can say, okay, hey, look, let's give you some information. Let's give you some health information. Let's give you some materials that'll help you kind of be healthier. And then if the need is that they need to see a specialist, we can make that happen. We can make that connection, schedule that appointment, and get them in to see a specialist before whatever the ailment they have becomes much more life-threatening and dangerous to them.
That's a great point. I want to thank our producer, Danny Lynn Dennis, for sharing the link to the website. So folks, if you're watching this, you can go to the comments here on Facebook and click to the link. But she's also shared the phone number here. So if you want more information, you can call that number. But as you can see up on the screen here, it's a neat bus. And what I love is it's branded like the North Oaks facility. So when you're in the bus, it's like being inside a North Oaks clinic or the North Oaks hospital, the same color schemes. It's a very consistent look. So folks that are familiar with North Oaks will feel right at home. But like you alluded to earlier, more importantly, it reaches people that are not familiar with North Oaks because they don't come into the hospital. They don't go to clinics. They can't really reach the actual, offices, if you will. So it's been really neat. And as you can see here, there's a whole team of professionals that go with the clinic. And so, folks, if you have this need, check this out, because this is a really neat program where North Oaks can come to you. And I think you mentioned, Staci, that it was a $400,000 project, right?
Yes.
We're talking big bucks, and I want to give some credit, like you did. First Guarantee Bank stepped up. We're blessed. The chairman of our board is also the head of First Guarantee Bank, Alton Lewis, and they stepped up with a big check and paid for half of it, $200,000, an incredibly generous gift. but that still left us with a pretty long, sum to come up with. And it's been neat to see the community step up and do that. And so, to those of you that helped, anybody who might be watching, I want to say thanks. But this is just one of many examples of great technology. You mentioned earlier scanners and stuff. I know, when I think of North Oaks, the first thing that pops in my mind are the two best days of my life were spent there when my boys Luke and James were born. We loved it so much they used Brandy as kind of the spokesmodel for a while. They came and took photos of her in there and put them in magazines and all that. But I know that you have a really special women's health gift associated with this, with the NICU. Can you tell us about that project? Because it's really
we had in fundraising, we call in hospital fundraising, it's called a grateful patient donation. And that typically happens when you have a patient who has a good experience, or perhaps someone who just recognizes the value of having the health system, the full service health system that we have right here in our community. So they're grateful. So they want to make a donation. So we had that situation, and the donor wanted something specific that specifically needed for our women and children's services. And we had on our wish list, it wasn't a necessity to care for the babies, but we wanted to have these, they're called, the brand is a NICView, and it's an internet-based camera. It's a little tiny camera, about the size of a cell phone. It mounts on the isolette, which is the little bed that the NICU babies live in. And it's got a little arm, and you can move it around. And so the camera's aimed on the baby, and mom, dad, grandparents, aunts, uncles, all you have to do, there's a secure website with a login and a password, and you can put your eyes on your baby 24 hours a day. And the reason that this is important is because visiting hours in our NICU, and as in most NICUs, are limited. You can't be there all the time. And if you have a brand new baby who is in the NICU, they're obviously sick. And so there's a lot of worry and anxiety. So it was an expensive project, if you will. And but we told her about that, and she goes, "That's what I want to do." And so she made a very generous $22,000 donation, and we were able to buy 6 cameras for our NICU. And then our foundation board said, let's go ahead and match her contribution and purchase an additional 8 cameras for our intermediate care nursery, so that when the baby goes from the NICU, steps down to the intermediate care nursery, but they're still not home. We wanted the parents to still be able to see them. So we've gotten a lot of positive response about that. And that's just an example of something, someone who had a good experience with North Oaks had the means to say thank you and pay it forward. And it's just touching hundreds of lives going forward.
Yeah, that's so neat. I can't imagine the peace of mind you bring to those parents who can see their little baby when they otherwise couldn't. It's invaluable. It's immeasurable. It's so important. And that's a neat story. I know, HIPAA and other rules prevent you from saying who it was. This is a family member of my nephew's in-laws, and just great people involved. And I can say, it's an instance where North Oaks literally saved lives. And here you are able to add an additional benefit beyond those healthcare benefits. That's really exciting. Staci, one thing I noticed early on in meeting you and working with this board, this foundation, is that you really seem to love what you do. Am I right about that? And if so, tell us why. Tell us what speaks to you about this calling, this profession you've chosen.
I like people. It's so cliche, but I really do like people. I like meeting people, different people from different areas and different places. And I didn't even really know anything about North Oaks. I didn't know anybody who lived in Hammond or Ponchatoula when I took the job. So I started kind of, fish out of water, hit the ground running. I knew that this was a very close community. It was, very tight knit and lots of history. And so I was very green to the community. And, so I came in expecting that, I was going to have to build relationships and meet new people and, kind of enmeshed myself in the culture here. And it's just been I mean, I didn't live that far away. I was in the New Orleans area,
Yeah.
but just very welcoming. Just, you know, people who are from here, have been here a long time, they love it. They really love the community and the people that live here. And so I love the people. I love that culture. And I know a lot more about North Oaks now that I've been there. And, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize how lucky we are to have a full service health system right here in Hammond. You know, I mean, we just added an oncology program. You know, we're doing a lot of really, you know, cool, innovative things. And so it's important that we have North Oaks here. And so I look at it as the foundation, the money that we raise helps support the health system, helps support the employees that work there, the people that take care of our patients, people when they get sick. So it's just, it's rewarding, you know, it's not like I'm selling, you know, I always say I couldn't be a salesman. I could, but I always said, like, I really have to believe in the cause, or I have to really believe in what I'm selling, because I'm not really a good BSer, if you will.
Right. But when you're selling something that truly benefits people, it's, you know, selling gets kind of a bad rap sometimes. You know, think of sleazy, you know, used car salesman, and I know some great used car salesmen. So, and the Lord knows I'm more lawyer jokes than used car sales jokes, but we think of these kind of, you know, guys from TV and movies, and, you know, but it's different. Whenever you know you've got a product that can help someone, you know, it's easy to get passionate about that, and it's a virtuous cause. And in North Oaks, there's so many things that it excels at. In my world, I'm an injury attorney. Every client I have comes to see me as the result of a really bad day, from the worst end, things like death and permanent, you know, disability, to, you know, your more minor fender benders. But none of them are happy to go through it. But I think, wow, how blessed are we to have a level 2 trauma center in our backyard? There are only a few in the whole state. And most of your big cities, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, you name it, do not have one. As I understand, New Orleans, Shreveport, but very few. Rich St. Tammany, as wonderful as that community is, I know you live over there, but they don't have one, right? So we're blessed to have one in the backyard, and that's just one of many, many things that they do so well.
Oh, our ER is I think we're the second busiest ER in the state. We average about between 5,000 and 6,000 visits a month, and that comes out to about 66,000 ER visits annually. So that's a lot of people that come through our ER, and a lot of them come through as traumas. So you know, so having it there and having those trauma surgeons at the ready, you know, it could be a matter of life and death. You know, you don't have to go all the way to New Orleans or to Baton Rouge now.
Well, I'll tell you when it dawned on me what a great job that they're doing up there. And when the storm came a couple years ago, we evacuated to Oxford, and we had brunch with some friends there that, quite frankly, are very well to do. They have, you know, a lot of resources. And of course, you know, Oxford's right near Memphis, you know, but this person was in a neck brace. To my surprise, I said, "Oh, what happened?" And she explained she needed neck surgery. And, you know, where did she go? She bypassed all the great doctors of Memphis and Mississippi to come to Hammond, Louisiana, and get Dr. LaFleur to take care of her, not because she knew somebody in Ponchatoula when she was growing up, but because doctors up where she lives that she trusted recommended him. Said, "Oh, he's got the best hands, the best vision,
He's
the best
very
whatever."
good.
So you've got, you know, doctors with big reputations that spread wide and far, and it's not just the doctors, of course, it's the whole team. And so thank you for promoting that. What are some ways that folks that are watching us that believe in this cause that you and I, you know, work so passionately for, if folks want to help, how can they do that? What would you tell them?
If they want to help, I mean, you know, obviously we accept donations. That's the business we're in, is to raise money. We have an online giving platform where you can go on our website and give. You can mail in your contributions. Sometimes, you know, people want a little bit more information before they make a donation, in which case, reach out to me or reach out to one of our board members, and we'd be happy to talk to you. You know, find out what are some of the things that you might have a specific connection to. Is it cancer? Is it heart disease in your family? You know, I want to connect with the donor. You know, people support organizations because they have a connection and they feel passionate, or they understand the importance of the organization. So, financial contributions of any size are important. And I'm always happy to talk to anyone who is considering. And here we are, it's the holidays, and we're actually getting ready to do a little promotion. If there's someone on your Christmas list who pretty much has everything and you never know what to buy them, right, you can make a contribution, make a donation in their honor to North Oaks Foundation, and we will send them a lovely Christmas letter letting them know. You can put a personalized message if you'd like. So, we accept, we've had, in the past, we've had members of our community pass away, and the family has requested donations be made to the North Oaks Foundation in lieu of flowers. And so that's always a very special way to honor someone, or remember someone that you love.
That's a great point. And to the businesses who may be watching, the business owners, I know that occasionally we come through situations where you may be able to get certain naming rights. So, for example, with the mobile health unit, there's some naming opportunities in association with that and other projects that we undertake. So if someone's eager to help, but maybe that would appeal to them and enable them to give a little more than they would just for an altruistic purpose, by all means, please call Staci.
Absolutely.
She can talk to you about that, or talk to me, Callie, any member of the board. We'll be happy to help put you in touch with those opportunities. Well, Staci, what else should folks know about the North Oaks Foundation, about North Oaks in general? What have we not covered yet that would be worth talking about?
Well, I could share that we will be, I think next week or the week after, we will be breaking ground on a new 5-story clinic tower. So we already have one clinic tower on campus, and we also have some satellite clinics throughout the community, but we need more clinic space. We need more doctors to handle the volume, and we need a place to put them. So that will begin, construction on that will begin within the next few weeks. And I think that's a good commentary on how many people we're helping. It's like, right, we don't have enough, we need more doctors, because when you call to get an appointment with, just arbitrarily like a urologist, the soonest that we can get you in is January. And it's like, so we want to be able to see as many patients as there's a need for, but we were running out of space. So that's something exciting that we have coming down the pipe. And then a little bit further down the line, we will be building a new women and children's tower as well.
Oh, that's exciting.
So that'll be very exciting as well. So just a lot is lots of things going on all the time. We're always looking for ways to improve. We're always looking to add services. And from the foundation perspective, I just say, okay, Michelle, our CEO, Michelle Sutton, what do you need from us now? Our board says to her, you tell us what's your next project? What would you like us to fundraise for? And then we just kind of take it and run with it. And I was really excited when she asked us to raise the money for the mobile clinic, because I really felt like that was a project that it was very obvious how important it was. The benefits were obvious, right, and it's very visible. It's, it's a tangible, you can see it out in the community. You can see us taking care of people right out close to where they live. And so I had a feeling that, we would have a lot more people want to support a project like that, because it will impact and it will help so many people.
Yeah. And, while you're talking about Michelle, I want to applaud her on the job she does keeping us on the North Oaks Foundation board informed. I can't imagine how busy someone would be to be CEO of such a large, health system, but she makes a point to attend our meetings, to answer any and all questions we may have, to come with a well thought out presentation, to update us on things like doctors that are coming and going and where the needs are. We're not flying blind on the foundation as to what the community health needs are, because she and her team come to us with so much information, and I really appreciate that, and I know my fellow board members do.
Well, Staci, it's important for you guys to have a big picture of what the needs are, what are the upcoming projects, what are the changes, because we're asking you to reach out to folks and ask them to support our project. So, we want to make sure, and she wants to make sure, that you all have a full understanding of what's going on, State of the Union of North Oaks.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I
You're
promised
welcome.
you I would try to get you out of here in a half hour. And I know your time is very valuable. So although I have plenty more questions I could ask and would love to, I think I'll leave it here. To our
Okay.
viewers, I want to thank you all for tuning in for Staci Arceneaux, and know that you can contact her. At the North, if you go to North Oaks, just Google North Oaks Foundation. It's very easy to find our website with contact information. But as you can see, she's very open and honest and eager to share information about this great project with you. So I would encourage you to please contact her. And so before we close, Staci, is there anything else on your mind, on your heart, anything at all you'd like to share before we go?
I would just like to wish everybody watching and listening a very happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas and New Year. The holiday season is here, and just always kind of reminds us how many things we have to be thankful and blessed, how blessed we are. So just thank you to everyone in the community who has supported our foundation, and I hope that this message will go out, and perhaps we'll get other people and other businesses maybe thinking about joining us and supporting one of our fundraising initiatives in the future.
Well said. Now, thank you for that. And I think you've actually prompted some community comment here. Ryan Griffin, my dear pal from the TARC board, thank you for tuning in. He says good
Ryan.
evening to you there, and good evening to you as well, Ryan. You're asking how we're doing. I'm doing well. Staci, what about you? You doing well?
I'm doing just fine. I'm not loving this new time,
Oh, me
but
neither. Or this weather. It's a little funky and
yeah, it's
gray.
kind of gloomy, but yeah, great. I'm doing great.
Well, they say this too shall pass. So hopefully we'll get blue
Yes.
skies soon. But Ryan, an unrelated note, I know that we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of TARC. And so in just a few weeks, Ryan, we'll have the party for that. And I hope to see you there. So thank you for tuning in. And to all else viewing, thank you. Ponchatoula Live will return after Thanksgiving. We'll take next week off, but we'll see you then. Y'all take care.